Big up. Liverpool 12th man here, all set and ready to go. I am looking at doing a preview today. Turn my light on here to kind of get started on the week because this kickoff is once again a noonday kickoff in the UK. So that means it's going to be like I want to say at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning kickoff for me. So it's going to be a rough one. It's going to be probably, especially since I have a gig on Sunday. It's going to be a really rough one to say the least. So I'll definitely be doing my best to partake in watching the game live. But I also know that I won't be doing a preview before the game because it's that early. So that's why I'm doing it now and definitely trying to get it in there and everything else. Big up to the Indian Scouser in the house. Big up, representing Thailand to the fullest. I see you. Big up to Brian as well. Thank you for everyone that's joining me live today. Trap Joe, big up. Thank you very much. I guess Trap Joe, I would be watching the Champions League if Liverpool was in the Champions League, but considering that we're not in the Champions League, it's the reason why I'm not really pinned to watching that game. I've got a bunch of stuff to do today, but it is Valentine's Day, so I guess some of us have someone special in their lives, or plural. I don't know if you have multiple ones or not, but anyway, we all have to do what we have to do on the V-Day, and that's what we have to do. So I am fortunate to be able to get this episode out and get some of just show some love to the family here, to the Reds family. So big up to everyone that is joining me live, or if you're watching this on the replay, of course, please do like, comment. Be sure to comment, but subscribe so that you can know when I go live and everything else. Big up John Conway. I see you in the house too. What's up? I wanted to get into it'd be nice to see PSG lose. Yeah, it would be. It would be. But maybe we'll do an episode on Champions League and everything else. I'm not necessarily, normally I do pretty much things all entitled or entailed to Liverpool, but it's, as Brian just said, it's 0-0 in both games, so you're not necessarily missing much. Hopefully, maybe you can mute the sound and listen to the game, or listen to me and watch the game at the same time. I don't really mind at all. Big up to Rasta Crab. Big up, he says, big up to Don Juan of football, Liverpool 12th man. I got you, Rasta Crab. Big up to you for sure. Big up. Rasta Crab represents Beijing Reds TV, and if you haven't signed up to their channel, you're missing out on a lot because not only do they represent the Caribbean and everything else, but they also represent some very great dialogue, discussion, discourse, the whole nine between them. It's a real good recipe, a real good mixture of it all. When it comes to their channel, and every once in a while, I get an invite, or I get an appearance on there. So it's always a fun little exchange when the football romantic joins the setting. So it as it is. So it is what it is. But big up to everyone joining me. I wanted to get into this because today is going to be some fun settings, because Brentford's a big game. I mean, let's just be honest. Every game going forward with this club is going to be a big game. There's a lot going on with our team, obviously, with, as Indian Scouser said earlier, I was going to save it for later, but I'll just briefly mention it and then go more in depth a little bit later on. But yeah, we have some notables that are still out for us in this game. But let's just be honest, every game's a big game, man. Every game's a big game, no matter what the settings are for us in the league, whether it's FA Cup, whether it's League Cup, which is we have a final coming up on at the end of February. And then, whether it's league games, every last one of these games is big. So it's something where, we can't slip up for anything, especially when we have those Sharks, the 115, aka City, or I should say the City, Manchester City, aka 115, looming in there, trying to make it very difficult for us. And then we also have, the real realization that we have Arsenal, we have Spurs. Fortunately, we have Arsenal all done, but we have Spurs still looming out there. There's some really big games left out there for us. Most notably, again, 115 at Anfield is the biggest game that we have, I think, on our schedule. But every game is big in itself. So I wanted to get into it. Look, I'll pull up here. This is the lineup that I have predicted for us. This is just my prediction. Now, there's something very interesting with this lineup is that if you noticed, I have Robbo, I have Van Dijk, I have Konate making a return from his red card. I have Gomez on the right side. Gomez, ultimate utility player for us right now. I know that sometimes people take that as a negative. I don't think so. I mean, one of our greats, one of our legends, one of our icons, however you look at it, in James Milner, was somewhat of a utility player, being able, a master of all in different positions that he could play. Gomez is one of those guys for us in the back line. So I think it's going to be this back line with Ali coming back in return from his illness. I also think that Endo is going to get the start once again. I like the fact that we have Endo back. I do know that it's going to be, this is what, and Roster Crab brings up a really, really cool and good question. Bradley is back and he's fresh. I get it. Brentford isn't, I know that I would prefer to see Bradley get the start against Luton rather than get the start against Brentford away, to be honest with you. Being back, being fresh, I get that from what Rasta's saying, but I'm glad to see that Bradley's back on the pitch, back with his teammates, back from stepping back from the horrific things that he had to go through with the loss of his father. But I just want to see, I personally want to see, and I know that Gomez has been played quite a bit, and we do need to monitor his minutes, and we do need to make sure that we keep him going on and everything else. But Revenite, I see Revenite. Revenite saying, get my boy Bradley back in there. I feel you. I just want to see Bradley not necessarily be pressed and have the duties pressed on him just as of yet. I'm not saying that he can't, that we shouldn't expect to see him, or if we see him, it's not, it will be that much of a surprise. But I just personally wouldn't mind seeing Gomez be pressed into that role, because I don't think we're going to see Robbo in that inverted role. I think Gomez, we have seen Gomez in the inverted role. Would be nice to see him get it in there, and everything else would be kind of decent to see. I also have Curtis Jones and McAllister in the 2-8s. Obviously, with Dom still working his way back to fitness and to get it back onto the practice pitch, I don't expect to see anyone else other than McAllister in that right side at 8. It's going to be interesting because McAllister has been doing so well in that 6 role as of late for us, and now he's having to transition back into the mindset of being an 8 for us and not having to do the dirty work of a 6. But still, all the same, it's good to see him in that role. The front line is going to be Diaz for me, Nunez, and Diego. I know that I have these guys in the positions that I have them in, but again, the notable positioning of fluidity for our team doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see these guys in this pitch, in this role, in the roles that you see them on the paper. So I wouldn't want to see that happen for what we have going on with with the front three, and that, you know, oh, I'm sorry, I'm answering a question of Brian's. I see Brian saying about Mo, and that's something I wanted to get into, natural segue into it, which is Mo Salah is back. The king is back. The king of Egypt is back on the pitch, and it's good to see. It's good to see that that the king of Egypt, Mohamed Salah, our king of Egypt at least, Mohamed Salah, has returned to the practice pitch. It's going to what I had at least written down for myself, just to ask a question to the chat, to anyone that's watching this, that's going to ask me possibly in the comments or hit me up in my DMs, is that we have some really interesting questions that have to be answered now with the return of Mo Salah, with the return of obviously Connor Bradley. These positions that we were automatically saying, yes, this player needs to play here, or this person's going to be, you expect to see him starting. Obviously, without Trent in the lineup, at right back position is now a question mark as to who we start, considering that we do have Gomez, considering that we do have no questions need to be answered, Rasta Crab said. I think we do, Rasta Crab. I think, look, Ross, I think we do, under the pretense that front three, for instance, and this is why I'm mentioning it after saying, the return of Mo. Mo Salah wants to play every game. I'm sure Mo Salah already had the conversation with Klopp, and if he's fit and he's able to be on that practice pitch, most likely he is having that conversation saying, I want to start. Now, I know that Klopp could hold him back and say, hey, let's just get you in as a sub this matchup. It is going to be different and everything else to see him on the pitch, as a sub. But it brings up a question for me and for you in the chat. My question is, if Mo Salah hypothetically starts this weekend at the right wing, obviously, do you start Darwin Nunez or do you start Diego Jota? It's a question. That's the question I think is going to be raised. It's the same question, even more so than not with the question of Trent, because it's not necessarily a question of who starts at right wing. We start Mo Salah every day, all day, no questions asked. However, we've all seen what we've all seen what Darwin Nunez means to this team. We see it night and day when it comes to it. And Revenite brings up this. Revenite saying Lucho to the bench, Darwin on the left. Brian is saying Nunez and Jota drop Diaz. Rasta Crab saying no Mo, Lucho, Jota, don't want Darwin on. Look, what's really interesting, and this is what I mean by this. Hello, Tom. How are you, Tom? What's very, very interesting. Big up, Ozan. Ozan Kabak. Yes, he plays center back. Good to see you. One of my definitely one of my favorites to see in the chat, as always. Ozan, definitely Kabak. He played center back. Big up to you, brother. He's says, yo, 12, does Harvey deserve it? Again, there's some questions. There's some warranted and what's the words I'm looking for? Some warranted questions, or just some actually interesting problems, I guess you would call them, if that, of whether who starts and who doesn't start. And it's a fun conversation to have. It's definitely a fun conversation. Big up Philip Bidwell in the house. Big up Philip, and big up to Chris Angel, the current leader of the Anfield Cup, the current point leader. He's going to be facing off against JK in the finals. Big up to you, Chris Angel. I think that what I mean by this is, and again, I'm seeing a lot of drop Diaz's. What are we doing? I think Diaz has solidified himself as our left wing. I don't understand why people want to drop Diaz. Diaz has been a real difference maker in these last couple of games. I know we haven't I know we didn't get a result against Arsenal, but obviously he was the guy that scored for us. I know we didn't. I know we got a goal from him last time. And again, Ozan Kabak, yes, he plays center back, brings up a great question. He says, yo, 12th man, does Harvey deserve a start for the way he's been playing? I think that you can make an argument that he does deserve a look. I wouldn't bring him in as a starter just yet, though. And what I mean by that is he's been doing such important work. I can't stress this enough. When it comes to having a quality team that's going to make a run for the title, run for silverware, you have to have players that fill roles on a team, whether it's super sub, whether it's locker room, whether it's the locker room clown, or comedian, whether it's the guy that motivates the guys on the pitch, on the practice pitch and keeps everyone in line, whether it's be a captain, whether it's vice captain, whether it's leadership roles on the pitch, everything, all these different roles are important, whether it's being the destroyer on the team, whether it's being the inverted player. I can't stress enough that players play roles, whether you need your Minaminos, you need your Divock Origis, you need these players that just, you need your Shaqiri, I liked him on our team. You need these guys that play definitive roles. You need these utility players like your Gomez's, like your Milners. You need these players, important players, to be a part of it. And if anything if there's anything of a title that I'm calling this year, and I'm going to coin this for right now, so in case you hear it later on by others, I'm going to say next man up mentality is definitely the underlining title of this year. If we were going to do a documentary on this league, on our pursuit of silverware this year, next man up mentality. And that's what we see a lot of in this team, whether it's right wing coverage, whether it's been coverage at the 6, whether it's been coverage in the 8s, coverage at right wing, coverage at left wing. We've had coverage at right center back. We've had so many different roles on this team that have called on the necessary duties of team players that, hey, could be starters, might be definitive starters, might be players trying to find their fitness, players trying to return from injury. It's something that I think we definitely need to utilize. And that's why I'm very interested to hear these comments that you guys have. So I saw Chris Angel say something as well. I'm sure it's going to be an interesting comment. But Philip Bidwell says, if Mo starts, I would play both Diaz bench with Hata through the center. Okay, so if Mo starts, I would play both Diaz and bench. I'm sure I'm not certain if that means you're going to bench Diaz or you're saying you play Mo and Hot. Oh, you play Mo and Diego, and then you play who you're going to play on the left. Tell me you're going to play on the left, Philip. Tell me you're going to play on the left. Chris Angel says, drop Hata. You have to manage minutes. He's the most fragile of the front three. He's touching the red line minutes wise. Hey, that's a good point, Chris. That's a very good point. I wasn't expecting that one, but Chris Angel putting his medical hat on. Rasta Crab says you can't drop the man that's in top form. That's Rasta Crab. You're right about that. It makes I on other broadcasts or other previews, I dropped Diego simply because I wanted to see either Diego or Nunez off the bench to be that impact player. I think that Diego provides that impact player more so than Nunez, because I just think Nunez is so enjoys being a starter that, you know, him causing the chaos and frustrations for the back line to create why I call him the Vassor. It makes a difference for me. So that's why I would say that you're right about it's difficult to drop him. I was trying to get Cody involved. And let me say this right now and right here and right now, you know, I like putting out takes before the takes are carried on by others. And that is, I really think that the one player that we have to get online, and what I mean by online, as in really kicking and moving the way that we've seen him move before, is Cody Gakpo. We have to see Cody get back into the scoring confidence, the dynamic player, that Agent Cody on the scene type settings that we need Cody to be on. Because if that happens, I think we'll be unstoppable going forward with what we have in our front line. But let me see what else we have here. You got to drop somebody, and that's right, Brian. You do have to drop somebody. Let's see. Tom says that front three won't change till Salah's back fit. Okay. I think that the fact that we are seeing him on the pitch shows that he is fit. Now, we have to definitely, and this is something that I like about the way that Klopp normally does things, is that he doesn't necessarily rush people back into the starting lineup. I don't want to see him do that again, especially considering that I didn't think from the play that I saw that Trent was exactly 100% match fit. I'm sure he was going off of the recommendations of the medical team. I'm sure he was going off of a lot of those things. However, we all to see Trent get subbed out at halftime, of the last game made a significant reasoning behind the fact that, yes, he's not able to give us 100%. And yet still, even Trent at 80% is still a dynamic player on the pitch. But all the same, Reverend Knight says, someone has to be dropped, and Darwin is crucial to our press and how we stretch our defense. Sorry, I agree with that completely. And that's the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying, Reverend Knight. I definitely agree with that. Roster Crab saying again, I ain't playing Darwin to stretch a defense. I want to score goals. I get you. But you gotta be appreciative of the fact of what this is what I think Reverend Knight's saying. This is at least what I'm saying. I'll speak for myself under the pretense of Darwin Nunez creates opportunities for every player on this team, whether it's Diego, whether it's Diaz, whether it's, even for our midfield. He creates opportunities for our team by his work rate and commitment to the system. You can't deny that. You just can't deny that. So many comments. Yeah, I just hit a nerve on a lot of people here. So many different comments. Trying to catch up here. I personally would see that. Big up Mark A. Mark A, one of the brethren that I've befriended off of Coppish, Team Coppish. Big up to them. Big up to Mark A. What I mean by that, though, is, or at least what I mean by what I'm saying about Nunez and what I'm saying about these question marks. We all know Mo Salah is going to ask to start. If Mo Salah can play, Mo Salah will ask to start. Do I believe that Klopp has the ability to tell Mo Salah to hold bench? That's a really, really interesting. I would love to be a fly on the wall to hear that conversation in the gaffer's office. But and again, I want to hear what you guys have to say. I don't think that. I think that if Mo says he wants to start, chances are Mo is going to start. So the biggest question mark is, does Mo Salah say, I'm match ready and I'm match fit and I want to start? And even if it means saying to him, we're not going to get a full 90 out of you. We'll give you 60 minutes and then build from there, because we got to build this. And again, this is what I was referencing earlier about what I like about Klopp, is that I like the fact that, you know, when we saw Diego come back from injury, we didn't see Diego just thrown back into it, despite the fact that he was on scoring form before his injury. We saw, you know, 30 minutes here, 20, 30 minutes here, you know, something like that. And we got impact. As soon as he was in the game, we got impacts, subs from him, goals from Diego. But also, we got him back up to the levels of being someone that we could say, oh, all right, well, maybe we can get a 90 out of Diego now that we've gotten him back into fitness. Because it's not easy, despite the fact that I get people like to think that you can just throw someone back into the lineup after being on the sideline or being sidelined, being medical sidelined. It's not easy to do when it comes to our players. It's really, really not easy to do. Really not easy to do at all. So I don't know if he's going. I don't think that I see what Rev Knight's. I think Rev Knight's saying something about that he doesn't think that Klopp's going to take that risk. I think Rev Knight, is that correct? Right. I don't necessarily know if he's going to take the risk per se, but I just mean I personally, this is the lineup I would go with. This is honestly the lineup I would go with. Like, as in the reasons why I would go with this lineup are a lot of the concerns, a lot of the issues, or a lot of the statements that are being made in the chat. And that's why I would go with this lineup. I know that some people might say, oh, well, Gomez could use a rest as well. He's kind of gotten a rest here and there now that we've got Robbo back. I would also say that Gomez does provide that inverted, despite he's not going to give what we expect from Trent, but he does have the ability to play an inverted role for us. But, you know, I just personally think that having Luton crammed into the schedule, which is BS, I think. I think that, you know, and then having a final right after that, being against Chelsea, I really think that this lineup fits for what we need it to fit against let's be honest, a team that we have to keep some real eyes and some real attention on in Brentford at home. Fun stat. Here's a fun stat for you. Liverpool averaged more shots and more joint. I'm trying to think how you say it. Joint, are tied for the most accurate crosses. So we have the most shots and the most accurate crosses per game this year. So we're averaging 19 shots a game. We're averaging 5.2 crosses a game in our games, which is exceptionally a great statistic to throw out there, because it shows that we're actually active in the final third, and we're actually getting shots, getting these shots taken and getting crosses taken. I think that personally, I have Brentford's Ethan Pinnock, and at least the spotlight in this game, I have Brentford's Ethan Pinnock, and I have Virgil van Dijk being the two of the spotlight, the two spotlight players to keep your eye on. I think both this year have been defensive powerhouses, I guess you could call it, or juggernauts. Let's call it that. Both defensive juggernauts for each team respectively. And I also think that because you have these players playing on the levels they have been playing at, some might say, well, why are you saying that they're the focus? I think that they're possibly the co-star focus. There is a focus, a bigger focus spotlight for me. I'm going to get into that. Just bear with me for 1 second. But why I say that they're a focus in this game is because, let's be honest, Ethan Pinnock has played well this year. He ranks first for clearances, 141 clearances. He ranks fourth for interceptions with 36. He's second for aerial duels, for wins in aerial duels this year with 93. He's 10th for shots blocked as well with 21. Okay, that's some really, really excellent numbers for a Brentford team that isn't exactly at the level of the level they would like to see them at in the table. But let's be honest, Virgil van Dijk is no slouch. I think he's returned to wearing his crown once again. He's obviously leads in headers won, in aerial duels won this year. He's also shots from set pieces. He has 25 shots from set pieces, meaning like that could include headers. Okay, so he's like, namely high on that list. He leads the league in that. So obviously he's the pinpoint. I would like to see him score more often, considering that we're trying to find him more often on our set pieces, whether it's, set pieces on the pitch or if they're set pieces from corners. I would like to see him score more often, albeit, but all the same, we can debate why he's not scoring more often. But there's plenty of other levels of other league rankings he knocks into. But if you want to ask and you want to say what is the most notable head-to-head matchup tomorrow, the one that it's the one that it is Valentine's Day. So once again, hey, happy Valentine's Day to those out there. Big up to Jean Grey, big up to Marion, big up to all the ladies that grace our presence in the chat when we do, and in the comments, that's from the Football Romantic here. But what I wanted to say is the most notable is going to obviously be Brentford's Ivan Toney and our number 9, the Invasor, Darwin Nunez. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. All right. Look, obviously, we don't have Bajan Barnes in the house, but Bajan Barnes, secret Valentine's, possibly Ivan Toney. No, I'm joking. I'm totally joking. Big up to Bajan Barnes. I always rip him because of what he said about he would prefer to have, or if both were not necessarily fit, but availability wise, being the factor. He always says that he said that he'd rather have Toney than Diego, albeit it was on the availability factor, not necessarily on performance factors, because, or maybe so, but I don't know. But let's keep it at 100 again. Toney, since coming back from his long gambling suspension. You like that? Toney has hit the ground running for sure. I will give him that. He had a big time hello, like NBA jams. Hello. To all those that know that game back in the day into video games. He definitely had a hello moment against for the Bees in the 2-0 win over the Wolves recently. Last weekend, making it his 3rd goal in 4 games. Man is definitely making short work of being back. Very efficient, very, very efficient striker for them. And let's keep it obvious. This is a high-profile game. Every time any team plays against Liverpool, it's a high-profile game for them. And that it's a stage that they look to. If you're a striker, especially, it's a stage you look to try to make a impact in by bringing out a difference on the pitch. And we all know Toney's physicality. He's a goal threat. He's actively he's athletic. He's actively a goal scorer. But he's going to be definitely one of those like annoying bees that won't get away from you, trying to drop a stinger in the game. He ranks he already ranks 2nd for shots with 2.5 and aerial wins with 3.5 per game since his return in action for the Bees at least, but let's just be honest. I'm hoping that we can get Nunez's first hat trick in this game. I know that might be wishful thinking. I'd settle for a brace, but all the same, our Guardian. Oh gosh, there's a little mouthful. Our Uruguay star Wizzy, okay, has taken on more shots, has gotten off more shots than any player in the Premier League this year. That's pretty incredible. I know that the pushback is going to be the constant narrative of his misses. Yeah, I know. I already got it. I got you. Nunez hat trick. Laugh now, Rasta Crab. Laugh now. Okay. We'll see. Hopefully I'll be laughing all the way to the bank. But all the same, the constant narrative of his misses and the hitting the woodwork, albeit is a little bit of a tired narrative that's been out, that keeps getting pushed out there. He has hit the woodwork 7 times. I get that in this 23-24 campaign. Liverpool's hit the woodwork 14 times. He has half of them. Half of the times it's been Darwin Nunez. That is a little bit of telling. But let's just be honest. Liverpool has been unbeaten on our home pitch. We've 17 wins and 2 draws at Anfield, but it's a little bit different story once we go away. I know we've been beaten, albeit at the Emirates. We've been beaten at the Spurs, at Hotspurs Stadium, but 9 wins, 5 draws. Even the 2 losses I think we have in Europa, meaning we had 9 wins, 5 draws, 4 losses at Anfield. Away. Excuse me, not Anfield. Away. It's still somewhat of a decent record. We've done some work on there. Away. And our away record shows a little bit better of it. A little bit better of a performance this year than last year, and I get it, Brian. He's saying exactly. So it's not a narrative. He says it's meaning the hitting the woodwork. Anything's a narrative that you speak on. You can have narratives, and that means you're speaking on it. I'm just saying that it's somewhat of a repetitive narrative that gets pushed out there. I didn't say it's an agenda. I just say it's a repetitive narrative out there. That's why I'm saying that, Brian. I'm starring your comments as we speak. But we beat Brentford 3-0 at home. It was a difference maker. Mohamed Salah was a difference maker in that game. We obviously had a goal from Diego, but we had 2 goals from Mohamed Salah in that game. So that's why, if anything, why there could be a solidified shout if he is fit to see Mo Salah in this game, because we all know he can prove fits for Brentford. Brentford was active in that game. Brentford was active at Anfield. Brentford missed some real opportunities in that game. And if Ivan Toney was at the end of those crosses or opportunities, who knows what could have been the difference. But I guess we shall soon find out if they get those same opportunities this time around. We could pay for allowing for that to happen. That's why I don't want to see that occur. That's why I do say this game is important. I do say that this game isn't a walkover. This is something that we can just simply look past and look on to our final or a Luton matchup. We have Michael Oliver as a referee in this game, Stuart Burt and Dan Cook on assistants. Graham Scott is the 4th official, and David Coote, the annoying David Coote, will be the video assistant referee, and Timothy Wood will be the assistant video referee, I guess. I just think that it does bring up a little bit of a issue or concern, not issue or concern, but something out there for all of us to mull over. especially since this is something that I think Indian Scouser mentioned earlier, which was it is somewhat deflating to see our great right back, our world-class talent of a right back being Trent Alexander-Arnold, having aggravated his knee, aggravated his knee injury once again. And apparently he will be missing not only this game, missing not only the Luton game, but apparently will be missing the Caribou Cup game, the Caribou Cup final. That's a really big punch in the gut. It does help, again, going back to what I said earlier about that whole next man up mentality. So, it's going to be definitely played upon there. It's a good question, a very good question. I'm going to be doing a preview for that game for certain, but do you start? It's very similar to the question here, which is, do you start Bradley or do you start Gomez? Because honestly, I'm starting Robbo. Robbo had a very good game. I think that Robbo is again, another one of those players that expects to start, wants to start, and when he does start, puts 100% effort into his opportunity on the pitch, whether it's leadership values, crossing, defensive work, whatever he's doing. I think Robbo is always on point for us, or for the most part, always on point for us, But that's a very good question. It was on Kabak. Yes, he played center back. I will answer that fully on my preview, but it's a question. It's a very solid question. Mark A has it as he wants Robbo to be a deputy to Gomez if Bradley is fit. So I guess, Mark, you're saying that you would want Gomez to start at left back and have Connor start at right back in the next couple of fixtures, or just going forward in general? Because it has been kind of frustrating to see a lot of the fan base, or not a lot, but some of the fan base out there pushing the narrative of that Trent has to fight for his position back, that that Connor should be the natural selection now for right back because of what balance he brings, or this and that, yada, yada, yada. I'm so over the moon that we have a right back deputy, or someone that can be a person that we can rely on at right back. Don't get it twisted. Trent's my right back. I love that Robbo is back. I love it. And I love the fact that Gomez has been putting in work at the left back. I love the fact that, he brings us some versatility and everything and such and such. I love the fact that Tsimikas has made a return to possibly finding his way back onto the pitch at some point. But Robbo is my left back. I can't emphasize that enough. I think that despite the fact that Gomez has been playing well at right back, left back, right center back, left center back, wherever it is on that back line, personally, I think that Robbo, if fit, should be the starting left back. If fit, Trent is the right back. If fit, there is a question mark whether you want to play Gomez or Bradley. That's a different story. But I would possibly play Bradley as my starting right back, and being that it would be good to have Gomez as a versatile backup for either the right back or left back position. That's why I'm saying most likely I would start Bradley. I most likely would start Bradley if he's fit and available. However, it's still a question mark for me. I just can't say it enough. I think it's still a question mark for me. Let's see what you guys got to say. Brian says, right now, only Klopp and Bradley will know if he's ready to go. That's a man management call. Big up the drunk Vigo in the house. What else do we see here? Tom says, look on the bright side. At least Nunez gets on with it and doesn't hide like most strikers in a goal drought. Yeah, and he's not necessarily even in a goal drought as of late. I mean, he's been scoring lately. He's kind of like, pushed himself away from the scoring drought that he had as a striker before. But I agree with what Tom says. I think that the greatest thing, one of the greatest attributes that comes along with Nunez is that, short memory concept of not worrying about missing shots, not worrying about any of those things, but just focusing more on contributing, running, doing, opening up channels, creating spaces, doing all the different things that you need out of your striker when the opportunity permits itself. Take your shots. You miss, so what? Go back, do it again. Rinse, repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I care less how many times you hit the woodwork, care less how many times you miss. You got to keep shooting, because once you allow for that inkling of doubt, that remote emergence of doubt start to seep in, especially as a striker, it's an unwanted cancer for a striker, in striker terms at least, that you don't want to have. And that's why I say, if anything with Nunez, I say I love the fact that he does have a short memory when it comes to missing. He just doesn't care. He just, does it affect him? Is he going to then look to pass rather than shoot? No, he just goes out there and takes another crack at it every opportunity. And if more so lately, especially with Mo Salah not being on his right or his left, he has been looking to shoot more often than pass, but he has incorporated passes, whether it's assists to Diaz or even to Diego. He's had opportunities and created that way too. Let's get into some score previews. What do you guys have as your score previews? I saw one score preview get posted. What do you guys have? And if you guys can include who you have scoring in your preview or your prediction, would appreciate that too. Let's see. Oh man, Angel. I don't know what the update is. I just saw Tuchel is definitely going to be hearing it from the Germans that support Bayern Munich. It is what it is. The curse of Kane even followed me on my video game pursuits. The last couple of times out with Harry Kane, it seems like Harry Kane's curse has followed him to Bayern Munich. I'm hoping that he can push past it, and I hope that Bayern Munich does get a title or gets a title. I don't want to say hope that he get a title, but I'm hoping that I'd rather see Bayern Munich win than a obviously Manchester City win in the Champions League. So I hope that they can get their act together. Rasta Crab also said real quick, he said, we don't know Hakpo's best position. That's the problem. I think we do know his best position. I just think that we unfortunately need we need his skill sets, and he provides the best options for a lot of times in the positions of that next man up mentality when it comes to those concepts. But again, give me your score updates or score predictions, and give me what it is that you think give me your score predictions and give me who you see scoring in this game. I'm hoping for let's call it a 4-1 score, 4-1 score for myself. I'm looking for Liverpool to be victorious as a 4-1 score. I would like to see. It's difficult to root. It's not root, but the difficult you know to count Diego out when it comes to scoring, because the guy just keeps scoring no matter what fixture he seems to score. It was very unbecoming of him to not see him score against Arsenal, to be honest with you, considering he does such good games against them, and he normally does score against them. But I'd like to hear what you guys think. I'm going to go with why not? I'll go with a hat trick with Darwin, and I'll go with I'll go with a hat trick from Darwin, and I'll go with a Virgil van Dijk header. I want to go with an Endo goal, but considering we don't target Endo on corners, and the only likelihood of us doing that would have been probably from a Trent, who does sometimes look for him to be another option for us. But it's something to keep an eye out for. But I'm going to go with a hat trick from Darwin, and I'm going to go with Virgil van Dijk set piece goal. Rasta Crab has it 3-1. He has Diego, Ibu, and Lucho. Okay. Looking for a set piece as well. Let's see. Big up JK in the house. Big up JK. Tom has it 4-1. Oh, Tom has it like me, 4-1. He has Darwin a goal. He has Diego a goal, and Diego 2 goals, I think. And he has Virgil van Dijk with a goal, and Ivan Toney with, unfortunately, a goal for Brentford. Let's see, what else do we have? Mark A has it 2-1 Liverpool with Diego scoring and McAllister. That'd be kind of cool to see. McAllister hasn't really scored, or really hasn't been a score threat with ever since that wonder goal he had against Fulham. But I could go for a McAllister goal. Brian has it 1-3, meaning since you usually put the home team first and then the away team second. So he has it 1-3. He has He has Ali Gomez. He has Ivan Toney scoring for Brentford. He has Gomez scoring, and he has Klopp and Ali getting the goal. If that is a possible, if you could put that as a possibility, I would love to see the odds on that one. But 3-1, okay, I got you, Brian. Mark down. Let's see what else. Chris Angel saying 3-2. Okay. He says if Robbo starts 2-0, he says 3-2, 3-2 if Robbo starts, 2-0 if Gomez starts at left back. Wow, Chris, you think it's that much of a difference maker in? I know Gomez has played well for us, not taking anything. I know, I get that. Yeah, I know. Rasta Crab telling Chris to zip it, with his talk. But Angel doing his Gunnar Lee troll impersonation. Big up. But yeah, I don't know if I would. I don't know if it's going to be that drastic of a difference whether Robbo starts or Gomez starts. I think that people are very much underestimating or undervaluing, the fact that Robbo has a commitment to excellence. Robbo has a commitment to really making a difference for this team, really contributing to this team. I just think that Robbo's dedication to hard work is a real difference maker, and that I don't think that Robbo would allow for himself to be necessarily the difference between a 2-0 win or a giving up 2 goals for being on the end of 2 goals for us. That's just my personal opinion, but it is what it is. But yeah, so it looks like we definitely we definitely have a undeniable census or consensus, excuse me, of people in the chat saying that we're going to be winning this game, which is cool. It's definitely cool. I saw this as well. I started earlier. Brian had 3-1 Liverpool and Tony goal. Sounds about right to him. Yeah, I definitely. Oh, Angel, thank you, Angel, for the score. 2-2. Oh no. I don't want to see a Brentford draw. We can't get draws. We cannot get these draws. Pause. Okay. We cannot get these. We can't get any more. We've got to win the rest. We've got to win these games. Got to keep pace with City, the way that City is. We definitely have to keep pace with City by getting wins in the league. I'm not saying that City won't slip possibly here or there. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. Hey, big up. Rasta Crab saying laughing LMAO. He's saying I love me. He's saying he loves himself some draws. Okay. Most notably on Valentine's Day. Hey, that could be what it is. That definitely could be what it is. but big up the Rasta Crab. Let's see. I'm hoping for this kind of result. Ozan Kabak, yes, he plays center back, is saying he's hoping Chelsea can get a 2-2 draw against City instead. I would like to see that too. I definitely can see City. I'm saying prepare for the worst, expect the best, prepare for the worst. It's the proverb I hold for everything in life. Whether it's relationships, whether it's business dealings, whether it's my individual performances in playing games, sports for myself or for our teams. I just always say I expect for the worst, prepare for the worst, expect the best. It's all you can do in life, So again, yeah. Yeah, when you know for sure, Rasta Crab. But yeah, Angel 1968 Abel is saying he sees a Brentford scoring for a corner. Hey, that's a very good point brought out by Angel 1968 Abel. I want to see us lock down corners. We're obviously going to let up a corner here or there. Most likely we're going to get, or hopefully we don't give up any set pieces, on the pitch. But, obviously we're possibly going to have a situation where we let up a corner here or there. And I want to see us be relentless and very clinical, if that's the word, appropriate word to utilize, with the defense of our corners. And we can't let Brentford get any easy goals off of corners. Honesty, big up, brother. Honesty says, off topic. Those who ever compared Trashford to Mbappe need to be put in a straitjacket. Facts. Absolute facts. I don't even know who or even what would make that comparison ever. God, I mean, Rashford gets on a purple patch and all of a sudden he's Mbappe levels. Never. You know what? This is a really another good question. He says, Rasta Crab puts it out there. He says, 12th man, when is the last game you felt confident in us defending set pieces? That's a really good question. A very good question. I'm only going from the pretense of I remember the Brendan Rodgers days when if we let up a corner kick, it might as well have been almost as might as well have been a spot kick. That's how often or how likely we were going to get scored on when we had Brendan Rodgers under the helm. I know that sometimes we did fall or start to gravitate towards those settings with Klopp, but for the most part, that's a really good question. I think that with the players that we have being Ibu or even Kwanzaa or especially Virgil van Dijk, marking their best, technically almost always marking their best corner takers or corner targets, I've always had more of a likelihood of thinking that we should and could win our battles when it comes to corners. But I will agree with you that as of lately, we necessarily, I see Rasta Crab's statements in the chat. We certainly have had bouts where we've looked shaky. And, obviously the goal that we let up this past weekend, where it was zonal marking once again. It was a player that it was zonal marking that led to Endo not being some slightly losing his mark and also not getting back up when it came to that corner. That was a really well taken, really well taken corner for them, for Burnley. I think that the statistics, I think that the numbers definitely favor us more so. I think we're going with the history and the remembrance of the history of our corners, of our inabilities with corners. But I think that we have done better with corners this year, to be honest with you. I think that we have done better with corners. We've had our bouts of focus, our bouts of not being, not following through and being directly dialed in with some of our corners. And whether it's Gravenberch, whether it's Endo, whether it's, some of these other players that you don't necessarily rely on as being the defensive stalwarts when it comes towards set pieces. However, when it comes to Endo is a really good aerial duelist despite his height. Diego, the same, very good at finding his head on corners. But yeah, it's something that is certainly it's something that if you allow for it to be a question in your mind, I think that more so is a negative towards going forward, because the numbers say that we're decent at corners. We're one of the top teams in defending corners this year in the Prem. That's just the statistics. However, it's just been notably the goals that we do let up have been from the occasional corner set piece, whatever. And that's been more so probably the boogeyman, mentality that we keep of or the Candyman mentality. That's what I think as well. But yeah, it's been a real honor and a pleasure to always, be here to answer your questions, have you be a part of the day of whatever segment that we're doing, whether it's the video game stuff that we did, or whether it's going to be some of the episodes that Brian and I are going to be putting together, with some of the episodes we're going to be putting together, or whether it's the guests that we have on with JK, obviously Brian as well, or sometimes Milante, or Chris Angel, who occasionally pops in and gives us the privilege of having him on the broadcast. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got to set a date for the Anfield Cup final. I need to organize that with the two participants in it, most importantly with JK and with Chris Angel. So that's the only reason why I haven't announced an official date for the Anfield Cup final, but we will be having that. Yeah, if there's any other questions, let me see if there's any other questions. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you on JK statement about that. Yeah, man. Yeah, it seems like, those out there, they put those things out in the universe and it just comes back to bite them, JK. That's how it is. Karma's a bitch. Let's see. And any last questions, any last statements here? Angel 1968 Abel says, our right side has been constantly affected by it. Yeah, you know what? A lot of the times, you know what? This is something great. He says, our right side has been constantly affected by injury this season. Dom and Trent now out. You know what? I think that we talk about the fluidity. We talk about the balance. We talk about all these different, buzzwords that are out there. And I think that realistically, we have been the most clinical. We have been the most deadly when we've had a starting lineup of Mo Salah at the right wing, Dom in that right midfielder position, and Trent in that inverted, if not right back spot. And it's the reason why I can't emphasize this enough. Once we get these players back and we get them in form and get them, firing on all cylinders together, we will have a formidable side to make this run in whatever competition we have in front of us. That's just my take. Big up to M. Tarmizi. He says, big up as always on a rescue summer mission to save Matistel and Kim from Munich to the Merseyside. I got you on that. I know. I put it out there. Hey, you know what? Maybe we need to get Gravenberch to give if he's still, I'm sure he probably has a lot of his teammates' numbers, being that he is a Dutch player and being that he is a former Bayern Munich player. Maybe he could give De Ligt a call and say, hey, I know that you're not getting really any minutes with Bayern Munich. Hey, I understand you're making crazy dough at Bayern Munich, but let's be honest. You want to play in the World Cup. You want to play for the national team. You want to be, someone that gets some minutes, period. And albeit you're not going to be a starter, most likely for Liverpool. However, I would love to see you in that rotation. And what I mean by rotation is you will at least see yourself in the rotation in this team. Albeit you'd have to fight with Kwanzaa. You'd have to fight, obviously, with Kwanzaa or Kanate, excuse me. And you'd also obviously have to fight, most possibly, even with Gomez making a dramatic and dynamic return to a possibility of being a selection at right center back for the pairing. But hey, that's just me. I think that Kim's a really talented and great player. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Kim play for this team either. But that's just my take. I also wanted to say, M. Tarmizi, I don't know if you're still in the house or not, but there is something that M. Tarmizi brought up, and it's something that I've been eyeing and looking at. I love the fact that M. Tarmizi is a real student, and is a professor, but also a student of the game as well. And I really did like his shout. It really hasn't garnered the attention that it should be, but it's something that I think is noticeable now that we see Gomez playing on the left side. And that was he asked this question to myself. I know he asked the question to, I think, Kopish as well, but there was this question of, do we think we're going to see more not necessarily inverted, but more coverage or play from right-footed players, right-footed fullbacks on the left side, and maybe even left-footed players on the right side. I thought it was a very, very when he initially asked that, almost always everyone's like, no. The natural reaction is, yeah, you want, if you're going to have when it comes to at least your defense, at least you're going to want to put a left-sided, a left-footed player on a left-footed player like a Robbo on the left side, and you're going to want to put a right-sided player like Trent, for instance, or Bradley, or whoever, Ramsey. You want to put those players on the right. But considering that we've seen the abilities of a Gomez being a right-footed player on the left side, and him being able to take on players like your Sakas and like, or your more dominant sided wingers on that side, you're going to see a lot. You see a lot more of return from putting a Gomez in that role as a left back, because when Saka tries to cut in, he's cutting in to the more dominant foot of Gomez. And it's a very interesting question. Very interesting question. It is something that again, I don't know if M. Tarmizi is in the chat still or not. I know M. Tarmizi is on the other side of the world from me. So, I know it is it's either late or early in the morning. I'm not certain what time it is where he's tuning in from. But it's a very interesting question. I'd love to hear some comments next time. We can maybe delve into that next time. But it's something that I would like for you guys to at least think of and peruse, in that cranium of yours. If you agree with that take, in the sense of, is one of the reasons why we've seen Gomez have such a solid shout at his role as a left back being because of his ability to take on left wingers, or excuse me, right wingers, is that the case? Is that the case, as in, like, he's able to take on right footed right wingers more so easily than a Robbo would, because considering that, Robbo has to rely on trying to, push them to the sideline. And a lot of times we see these right wingers or left wingers too, we see the wingers they tend to want to cut inside as opposed to go cut outside, because most likely wingers are going to go towards, especially the right inside forwards, they want to go towards the goal as opposed to go away and give crosses. They tend to go towards the goal. But that's just a very, very good take, again, by someone that I rate. I rate his football knowledge, his football IQ, and I definitely rate his eye for football talent, because he's definitely my guy when it comes to the just when it comes to into the Asian market of players out there, but it is what it is. When it comes to some of the players that are no longer on the market, I hear that Kubo is possibly no longer on the market, but it is what it is, So anyways, yes, it's going to be painful. I got a early wake up call for this weekend. I'm going to answer these quick, or I'm going to pop up these quick ones real quick. Honestly is saying real quick, I would play Joe G at right back in the final and give Connor 15 minutes if we're up 3-0. I got you on that. Connor, I think will get a medal regardless, I think, for the Caribou Cup. So you know what? If anything, maybe give any of those players that are on the if we're up 3-0 in the final, going by what Honesty says, I personally would go as far as to look to get players that are on the cusp of not getting a medal, but would get a medal with an appearance. I would give them an opportunity to get a run. Brian also says he thinks the inverted thing will be relatively short-lived tactic, as it's not something the majority of sides can do. He says its flaws will be exposed a lot more. Drunk Vigo. I've always believed in Gomez. I've always believed in Jones. Bradley, I've become a believer in. I didn't know enough about Bradley, to be honest with you, to be a staunch believer that we would get the kind of return we've gotten out of Connor. But it's a welcome return and welcome sight to see. And as far as Endo, come on, you know me and Endo go back. I'm big in Japan. I'm big in Japan. You can. I need this. If I could play the song, I would play the song as my background music right now for that. Let's see. One quick thing. Okay. Okay. You're talking about the games and losing, or sometimes the amount of attention that we bring to it. Okay. I thought that was maybe something about my left back, right back question or whatever. Real quick question. I saw it. You got it in at the buzzer. It says, question, who was number 44 in the inside training video? He has an afro and is light skin youth. That's a good question. That's a very, very good question. Let me see. I didn't see insider training yet, actually, to tell you the truth. But I'm going to see. Someone have who? Does anyone know? Maybe the chat can answer that question for us. Because I don't know who that player is, to be honest with you. I didn't see who was number 44, and considering that chances are he's probably not playing with the number that he plays with at academy levels. So again, if the chat can answer that, maybe the chat can answer that question in honesty. I haven't seen our insider training footage just yet. It's usually something that I do watch pretty religiously, but yeah. Brian's gonna get on that for us. Big up Brian. And big up to Happy Kwanzaa. Big up to Happy Kwanzaa, and big up to Daz Reynolds. I don't think I said that. I saw that you have Kwanzaa or Ibu. I'm going with Ibu in this match. I think that it. I wouldn't say it was a good thing that we got the. It wasn't a good thing that Ibu got a red card. It was more so for me. It kind of forced the hand for us to rest Ibu and for him not to have a grievance, for that. I don't think Luke Chambers is not light. That's not light skin. I don't think Luke Chambers is light skin. But I would not classify that. But yeah, Brian's looking for it. What is it? Let's see. Okay, so someone texted him last. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Let me see if I could figure out who you might be speaking on real quick. Oh, you know what? Could it be? Let me see. It's not him. It's not. I don't think it's Trent Kone Doherty. Is it Trent Kone Doherty? Could it be Trent Kone Doherty? Possibly. I'll put the name in the chat for you here. Is it this player possibly? I see I'm coming up on the 90 here. It's definitely not Neoni. I'll tell you that. If that's light skin, I don't know. I don't know what dark skin is if that's light skin. Or I mean, I don't think it's Scanlon. I don't think it's Scanlon. Try to think who else it could be. Let's see. Can't think of who else. Can anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else real quick? Bueller, you know. Yeah. Who else is there? I can't think of it. I'm trying to think of who it could possibly be. 40, number 44. Let me think. I'm looking through the list here of players that you could have been speaking on. I don't think that Luca Fernell-Gill is playing. I don't think Harry Evers is getting a call up. It's probably not Lee Jonas. It's probably not Lee Jonas. It's not Kyle Kelly. It's not who else? Who else is there? It's probably not Clay Ewing. It's probably not him. Like we already said, Trey Neoni is not light skinned. Let's see. You sure it wasn't someone with a tan? I don't know. Maybe, I don't think it's Renell Young. Jaden Dans, maybe. Let's see. Again, okay. Jade Dans. Okay. Interesting. That's an interesting shout. I don't. It's gonna be interesting to see who we bringing out. Yeah, no, I get that. Daz Reynolds asking no. Number 44 for LFC. Okay, I got you. Because yeah. Yeah, I don't. I know we don't. Saying there's no 40. Okay, we don't have a 44. I'm just going by what I was asked. He said that he was wearing that. I think Honesty said that he was wearing a number 44 yesterday. So okay, so yeah. So Honesty says yes. It's Jaden Dans. Who is he? We got youth players coming left and right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, it just goes to show you what a difference our youth players are making for our team this year. I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. I know that he's a striker. Yes, he is a striker. He's a forward at least for our team. Yep. I don't think I put that in as a choice. Who they have in there? I had Kane Kane story. But I did say Jaden Dans. Okay, so Jaden Dans, I got you. Let's see. Here's the lowdown on Jaden Dans. Again, I'm gonna be signing off in the 90th minute, so a few more minutes here left. So Jaden Dans is a versatile player. This is Lee's Liverpool FC saying Jaden Dans is a versatile player who first came to Liverpool FC Academy at the age of 8. Wow, that's pretty incredible. So he's been with our youth academy for forever. He can play in attack or in midfield. So obviously he definitely creates some versatility for us. And made his under 18s debut as a under 16 player in 21-22. He's a Scouser, which is always great to hear, who is the son of well-known midfielder Neil Dons. He featured for the U18s as a first-year scholar in 2023 and netted 10 goals. Cool. Well, big up to you. Big up to you. I don't necessarily know if that's going to be, if we're going to see you at Brentford. I don't necessarily know if we're going to see that. But hey, what is. I'd rather see him I'd rather see his name on the lineup list than see two goalkeepers on our bench, which we've done on occasion here or there. I do have a show planned for tomorrow night. Yes, Brian, I will coordinate with you as well to see if you want to be a part of tomorrow's show. But that's pretty much it. God, you're killing me with bringing these questions in at the buzzer. That's pretty much it. Okay, question. Do you think we have so many youth players coming through as being because of Klopp and the new training complex, or is just a timing thing? You know what? I'm going to go with I'm going to do a K-Mac impersonation here and drop a conspiracy. Big up to K-Mac, by the way. It's all love. I'm not saying it as a disparaging or a knock at K-Mac at all, by the way. K-Mac's my guy. But I'm going to do a definite conspiracy thing in saying that, you know what? Seeing the amount of the new hot currency is youth players, especially with the way the FF or the profit and sustainability the PSR rule is nowadays. In my own humble opinion, I do think that teams have put a bigger emphasis on highlighting and showcasing their youth academy talents by putting them on this platform, or putting them on the pitch and giving them time to shine, giving them time to show that they're ready, that they're available. Even more so, I think it's a bigger positive than even more so than sending them out on loan to a club in like maybe even the Championship League, or sending them on loan to like the Scottish League, or wherever in the world that you're sending these players to. I think it's a bigger boost in their ratings, a bigger boost in their marketability by getting them Premier League starts, if not appearances, and getting them time on the pitch that way, and utilizing the fact that once you do get these players into, look, I put it out there, it's going to be actually a part of tomorrow's show, but I put it out there, whether a lot of these players are not only out there for their abilities, but just for the fact of saying, hey, you know what? It's kind of like I've got this new car here. Is anybody interested? I got a new car on a lot. Is anybody interested? If you are, wow me with it, and either you can then, go as far as to, again, you can go as far as getting the return that you get for these players. You can get a return for players then like what Chelsea's looking for instance. Chelsea were, Colwell was getting a lot of time and a lot of look-ats from his appearances for Brighton. Now he's playing as a definite player for Chelsea. He's gotten, obviously they're showing their commitment, or at least their reluctance to sell him, but they were asking for 60 some odd million, 65 million. Being that Jaden, for instance, like a Jaden Dons, who is a Scouser, who's going to end up, being a player that we can focus and look towards, as being, getting all out 100% return for if we were to, move on from his services. That's big nowadays for clubs. Let's just be honest. That's a big difference maker when it comes to the books. And a lot of times, I think you're going to see more so than not, you're going to see a lot more players be placed into these roles or be showcased more so than not to try to get some market value for them increased. That's just my take. I don't know if that's a real tin hat take, but it's certainly I think it's certainly cognitive of the fact that that's just the world we're in today. It's the reason why we didn't see that much movement in the January window. I think it's the reason why a lot of these players, whether they have 1 goal, 2 goals, whether they have a couple of good starts, you're seeing a lot of these players get accelerated, heightened market values for these players simply on the fact that they fit the homegrown status, or they fit the 100% things, those types of things. Yeah. Modern football in full effect, to say the least, Brian, for sure, to say the least. So, wait, what was that? What was that? I don't know about the Usher question. I don't know about the Usher question. It is what it is, the Usher question. But yeah, big up to everyone for joining me today. Big up to the 20 or something odd people that showed love today. I appreciate that immensely for just a preview show, so I really do appreciate that. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I really do mean what I say here by "you'll never walk alone" by subscribing. It means the world to me because you show your commitment to not allowing me to walk alone by subscribing. So please do pass this on to your friends, your family, your loved ones, your rivals, your foes. Does not matter. Just pass it on to these people so we can start to get some real, continue the solid momentum that we have with the channel. We can then thus get more content out there. We can get obviously more things that we can get involved in the channel. It can help provide me a reasoning to when I go to some of my partners, I can tell them why I do this more realistically in their conceptualization of why I do it, because some of them don't recognize the fact that Reds mean everything to me. You being a Red, me being a Red means something and means the world to me. So that's why I do it each and every time, each and every day. Hey, it is what it is. So big up to everyone. Daz, Honesty, Brian, JK, Chris, so many names in here. Tom, Drunk Vigo, who else was in here? Redbird was in here. Red for Life, Rasta Crab, Honesty. I said Brian, I believe. Angel, Angel 1968, Abel, Ozan Kabak. Yes, he played center back. I did say Tom, and any of the others I missed? Oh, Revenite. Okay, I don't want to forget about Revenite because I like when Revenite engages in the dialogue. Definitely like it when I hear Mark A, because Mark A and I don't agree on everything. We agree on some things, but we definitely don't agree on everything. And I like the fact that Mark A and I can have intriguing discussions back and forth. So it is always a fun time to have when he's involved. Big up to Philip Bidwell in the house. And we've gone into extra time, so I'm going to have to end the stream here, but I wanted to make sure I got each and every person. Trap Joe, my brethren up in the Bay Area, and John Conway, big up to you, and of course big up to Indian Scouser. I think I got everybody in the house, at least those that said hello in the chat to me. A big up to Indian Scouser in one of my favorite places, Thailand. So there it is. I'll say that now. So yeah. Because I don't know. I love the culture and everything in Thailand. And shout out to to one of the lady friends that I have here that has definitely brought out some of my extra love for Thailand. So big up to them. But all the same, I will say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever I am, wherever it is that I'm reaching you in the world. Let me say that I am glad that you showed love on this Valentine's Day. Go out there, make something special for yourself, because you got to take care of yourself. That's key. And then by taking care of yourself, you can possibly take care of your loved ones. And that should be an emphasis and a factor in your life. I hope that you do it. I hope that you continue to make that a priority. And until tomorrow, it'll be at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. UK time. I held off today because I thought that I was going to be doing a show with Quasi, but I don't know what happened to the show. So all well and good. So I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK time. And it should be a fun show. It should be an interesting show, because the show I'm going to be dealing with tomorrow, little hint, is going to be on our youth academy players and something of the things that we spoke on today towards the end of what I said. So it should be a fun episode tomorrow. And I will see you. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. So take care, guys. I'll see you.